Hey friends, welcome back to the channel, Creatively Sandra, or welcome if you are new here. Today I want to share with you my RSP haul from D23 event that took place, now it's weekend before last, and I got some great pins. So I want to share that with you, but first let me welcome you to Pin Me Up Wednesday. Today is a day where we share pins. The ladies that created this did so that we could share our love of pins, open mystery pins, hauls we got from trading, shipments we got from purchases, live sales, etc. And today we're going to be diving into these special D23 limited edition pins that I was able to acquire for the 2025 D23 event. I want to tell you a little bit about how it works if you don't know. If you do know, you could just fast forward through that part to get to the pins, but you have to get into the event first of all to be able to participate. And that went on sale months ago, but it was like not a lottery, but there was a queue. So you tried to get in the queue, purchase tickets before they sold out. There were 4,000 attendees. It was an exciting event. We learned lots about what's upcoming in Disney. We got to shop. We got these pins. We got to see stars from the movies, some upcoming previews, things like that. And I'm going to dive into that a little more in a future video. So if you haven't subscribed to the channel, definitely go ahead and subscribe if you want to be able to see that content. So we'll tell you a little bit about that. And besides that, all kinds of other events, trading events were going on through the weekend, and I did some park visits as well. So there's a lot to tell, and this is just the beginning. So stay tuned. All right, let's dive in. So once you got in, there was what they call a RSP something process, reservation process for choosing the pins you want. And it's like a lottery queuing type system where you list what you want, you list them in the order you want, and then they attempt to satisfy your requests. And they do it fairly and across the board. So obviously with 4,000 people potentially requesting pins, they have more requests than pins available, especially some of the edition sizes are 200 or 300 limited edition. And so after that process is done, you find out what you get. Then you also get charged for them, and then later you pick them up at the event. So it all started early July, where we got the list of what was going to be available, and we got kind of an online catalog to browse through. And there were 3 because they did the Walt Disney Company Store. They did DSSH, which is Disney Studios. Oh my gosh, that just went out of my head. Hollywood Studio Store. And then they also did Mickey's of Glendale. And you had to do 3 separate RSPs. So you had to fill out your wish list and in the order you wanted. And then you also got notified of the results by 3 separate emails. And then you got charged 3 separate times. And then you also did your pickup 3 separate lines to pick up your pins. And those were a little bit crazy. That is the one thing they really need to improve on. The other lines were like I did a half hour, an hour, but the DSSH line, I believe, was the worst one. And we actually spent 2.5 hours in line, which really cut out our time for shopping, for trading. So that was kind of a bummer and the one disappointment of the event. It was crowded, it was crazy, but there was lots there to do and love, but that was the one thing that I wish they had done a little better on. All right, let's dive into the pins. So I'm going to tell you, overall, I put, across the 3 stores, I put 31 pins on my list. I only missed out on getting 8 of them. And all but 3 of those 8 were ones I intended to use for traders. So I really got most of what I want, which was awesome. The first one I'll go through is the smallest one, and that was the Walt Disney Company Store. They did a lot of sort of celebration, like Latin celebration. So there was Coco, there was Encanto, there was 3 Caballeros. My focus in there was Encanto, but I also made that my smallest list because I didn't need to get every one of the series of pins, so I just went for a couple, and then I went for one trader for the 3 Caballeros, which I did not get. So the first 2 pins that I have for you are from the Walt Disney Company Store, and they are Encanto theme, and this is Mirabelle. It is a gorgeous tile style pin. There's a lot of texture. It's not pin on pin, but there is definitely raised pieces, and it is just gorgeous. And this one was a limited release of 300. And then I got one more. So one of my favorite characters in Encanto is Dolores. So she was fun to add to the collection. I don't have a ton of pins of her, so I thought how cool to focus on just a couple of characters and go for those, and I was able to get them. The other tip I will tell you, now there's lots of people out there who went for tons of pins, resell them, all of that good stuff, and had long lists and got lots of stuff. But I think the success of my list was because it wasn't huge. Because if you have things on the top of your list and you have something down like the 30th item, you have less and less a chance to get it as the further you go down, depending on the size of the edition. So I think because mine were limited to, I think DSSH or Mickey's of Glendale was the one I had the most on. All right, let's go into DSSH next. So there was a series that I didn't put down any for. Actually, there was 2. One was the vinyl series, and it was a cute little record, and it was a record player, and then it had interchangeable records from different movies. That was adorable, but I was worried that if you didn't get the record one, the record player, then what were you going to do with the record? So I didn't bother to go for that one. So the first series that I went for was the Cross Country series, and I got my top 3 on that, or top 2. Top 2, and then I did one later down on my list as a trader, so I'll show you that. So these were the first and second item on my list. The first one was Judy Hopps, and this one is called Cross Country. And this pin features different characters on the train, like in the caboose. And the background is pretty much their scene from their movie. Like this is when Judy, I believe, like leaving her parents and going into Zootopia. She takes a train, and so there she is. She's kind of small on these. Some of the characters are smaller on these trains than others, but rightly so. She's a tiny one, so that is adorable. And that one was a limited edition size of 400. And then the other one I wanted and was able to get from that series was Louis from Princess and the Frog. And he's great. You see, he's taken up the whole back of that caboose, and he's surrounded by the swamp there. He's got his trumpet that he's playing, and that is just adorable. So also limited edition of 300 on, or 400 on that one as well. I'm not going to take all these off the backer cards. You know, maybe I'll show you one from each category just to show you what the backers look like in those. Like DSSH always has these ice cream cones, and you'll see the limited edition size of 400 along with my recording red dot there. And that's it for that one. Okay, I also got, I missed out on the cuties. So cuties are from DSSH. They're very, very popular. They go for a lot of money aftermarket. I didn't get any of those. So those were 4th and 5th on my list. Oh, I skipped one. Okay, so they were 4th and 5th on my list. They were limited edition of 300, but I didn't get any. So I'm sure that they were the top of a lot of people's lists. I did go after some of the Many Sides of Me pins. So they were princesses. I think they were all princesses, but they had different poses or images of the princesses. So this one is Tiana, and I was able to acquire her. So this was the 3rd item on my request list, and she is limited edition of 400. So beautiful pin. Now, I did get 2 others. I'm going to post a picture of them here. They were lower on my list. Actually, number 11 and 10. I also had number 9 here. So I put on my list Ariel, Aurora, and Cinderella. So I got Aurora and Cinderella, but I did not get Ariel. So number 9 on my list, and I realize I'm skipping around a bit here because I broke it up. I'm giving you the series, but I only had Tiana in the top tier. The others were intended for traders, so I put them down lower on my wish list. So Aurora and Cinderella and Tiana are the ones that I acquired. Now, the reason I'm showing you a photo is because that same day that I got them, I traded them for a very special pin that I'm really excited about, and I'll be showing you those in a later video when we talk about the trades that I made for the weekend. All right, so we talked about the cuties were 4th and 5th. The next on my list were Beloved Tales, and I put down 2 of these. I only got 1. So my first choice was Inside Out 2. That was number 6 on my list, and number 7 was Elemental. I did not get Elemental, but I did get Inside Out 2. And it was really funny because my friend Shay over at DSSH Life accompanied me for this whole event, and lots of fun throughout the week. You'll see lots of that coming up. So we were looking at this pin and thinking something weird's about it. Like it almost looked like Sadness and Embarrassment's hands joined with this weird line, but we realized it's the console table. So from the inside out little lab or in the brain, whatever you want to call it, it's the console table where all the switches and things are. So this is an adorable pin, and I'm glad to add this to my collection. I feel like I missed showing you one. Baymax, I missed Baymax. Okay, so he's further down on the list, that's why. But he's part of a different series. So this is from the Beloved Tales series, and I'm excited to add that one. It is limited edition of 300, and like I said, I did not get the Elemental, but that Elemental was popular. It went for a lot aftermarket, so people are already selling these pins. People are trading them. I did not put them up for trade this past weekend or that weekend because I'm nervous. I have such great pins. A lot of them, these are ones I'm keeping, so they won't go up for trade, but the ones I have for trade, I was a little nervous, so I'm kind of waiting. Maybe there's another pin event in about a week and a half, 2 weeks, and I'll try that. But this one is the last one that I have from DSSH. Oh, almost. This one I did get as a trader, and it is Baymax. So this, again, is from the Cross Country series, limited edition of 300, and so that is the one trader from the ones I've shown you for DSSH that I will be trading. I had one other pin that I picked up for a friend, and that one was from the, what was that called? California series. So there was a bunch of pins, and I'll post a picture of that one here as well. They had several characters with like a map of California behind them and a little star on Disney for the store location, I think, for DSSH. Disney Studios Store Hollywood. That's what DSSH stands for. So that was cute. And the one I picked up was Marie, and that went to a friend of mine to purchase. Okay, so that is all of DSSH. Like I said, I missed out on the cuties. The other one that I missed out on is Elemental. So a few of those that I didn't get as part of that 8 items that didn't come in. All right, now last one is Mickey's of Glendale. Okay, so there's a lot more pins I put up for in this one, and we're gonna start off with the Disney Grand Prix. So, oh my goodness, there was a Muppets van that went crazy, and I did not get that one. That was 3rd on my list, I believe, but very first on my list, and it makes sense. You guys know, if you've seen my channel logo, if you've seen my business card, I had to have the Vanellope one, and so I did get the Vanellope Grand Prix pin. Now this one was a limited edition size of 300, so all the ones in that series, and they had a good 8, 9, 10 pins that were part of the Grand Prix series. Some really cool ones, but this is the main one that I wanted. And then the second one that I wanted, and now I'm not so sure about this one, but it was Flash. So I got Flash, and he's also 300 limited edition, and I'm just not sure I'm going to keep him now. I do love it. It says Fast Animal on his license plate, so that is super cute. He's in kind of a, I don't know, what is that car? A Corvette or something? Not a Corvette. I don't know sports cars, so don't quote me on that. But these are very cute. We'll just see. Now, some of these that I got, like I mentioned, they're going for a lot of money. That Muppets one that I told you is over $500. I think even more in some places that it's selling for. These are not that. So whether I trade it, it'll just be traded for a normal trade value, you know, a 1-for-1 for something else from D23, or, you know, if you're trading for other pins, it may go up in trade value. We'll see. Okay, so that was the Disney's Grand Prix. I did not get the Muppet car, but the other two were the only ones I requested. Now, there were also chibi heroines, so they had a lot of the princesses and maybe Alice in a chibi form. I didn't go for those. I wasn't sure if I loved them, and then I regretted it once I saw them. They were a big size. They weren't like some of the other chibis we've seen available, so they would have been nice to have, especially Tiana. I may look for that in a trade, but very cute, but I did not pick up any of those. So the next one was Disney Squad Goals. These pins are huge, and I had no idea. These were a limited edition of 400. I put in for 4 and I got 4. So that was pretty cool. So the one that I really wanted, so I think this was, let's see, number 3 on my list. Oh no, we had the horse ones first. So this was a little further down. So this was number 7 on my list, and it is Zootopia. How cool is that? Now look at the size of my hand. This is a big, like 5-inch at least pin, and we have Officer Bogo, we have Claude Hauser, we have Judy and Nick. I think that's it. And they're taking a little selfie. Claude Hauser is taking a selfie of them. And these are just super cool. So amazing, big. It is a 4-pin back pin. And oh, I didn't even mention, we've moved on to, oh, maybe I did, Mickey's of Glendale. So again, 400 limited edition, and it's beautiful. So that's one that is a keeper for me. And then the other one that is definitely a keeper for me is Encanto. So this is the Encanto pin, and we have all the ladies in the family. So Abuela, we have Mirabel's mother, Juliet. We have, am I missing that? No, that's her aunt's name. Anyway, let's not waste time. But we have Isabella, we have Luisa, we have Dolores, we have Julieta, and now my name is slipping on that one. And then we have Mirabel, of course. So this is big and beautiful. The other one is going to be a trader for me, but this has gone up quite a bit in value. And these originally were, I didn't tell you the prices on most of them, but some of them were a bit hefty. These were $44.95, and it makes sense because of the size. So the next one I got is Sleeping Beauty. Now they had this one twice because they had Aurora with the blue dress and Aurora with the pink dress. And as a trader, I really wasn't sure which one would go. I'm now thinking maybe the blue dress would have been more popular, but I think they're trading at about the same, trading and selling at about the same value. And then the last one from this Disney Squad Goals, which is just a funny name for it. I had this one further down on my list, the second to the last item on my list, because I thought it would make a good trader. And this one's holding a good value too. And it is Hercules. So you have Hercules, Meg, the Pegasus, and names are escaping me. Phil. Phil right now. So names are escaping me right now. This is Phil. I can't even talk. But this was a cool pin. Very, very cool. So some Hercules fans will love this one. So I hope to get a good trade out of that one as well. All right. Next we have up the, what did I skip? So we did, oh, They're Off. Okay, so They're Off is all of the characters on a horse. So mainly princesses. There was one I wanted, so she was very high up on my list. She was number 4. So after the Grand Prix Muppets came Rapunzel on her horse, Maximus, and this is gorgeous. This is a limited edition of 400. And just a beautiful pin, nice backer card. These are gorgeous. We didn't take any off the backer card for these Mickey's of Glendale, so let's just do one. I believe Mickey's of Glendale has the sorcerer hat. Oh yeah, look at that. Look at the shape of the horse on there. So sorcerer hat on these, it's a Walt Disney Imagineering exclusive, and it is limited edition of 400 there. So beautiful, beautiful pin. The other two that I got, one was for a trader and one was for a friend. So this one is my trader. Not sure how well this one will do, but I went for it. So it is Cinderella. She was number 10 on my Mickey's of Glendale list, and she was acquired. And she's beautiful as well with her horse. And then the last one that I did acquire but don't have is because I got it for a friend, so I will post that here as well, and that is Belle. And I think that was probably the most popular one, Belle and Rapunzel, and I think Belle and Rapunzel, but they were all so pretty. The Mulan one was gorgeous, so beautiful. So I got Rapunzel, Cinderella, and Belle. I also put the Beauty and the Beast one on my list, but very last on the list. So that's why I didn't get that one, because she wasn't the top priority for me, and I'm sure she was a top priority for many. Okay, now we also got mystery packs. So there was a mystery set. I'm going to include a picture of all the options in the mystery set. We were able to get 3 boxes as part of the RSP. And then there was additional boxes for sale after you picked up your RSP. But because I picked up that one so late, the others were sold out by the time I finished. So I did not get additional boxes. That was okay. I wasn't in love with it. You saw the pins. I got 3 boxes, so 6 pins, but I traded some of those. Here's what I ended up with. I only have 5 because I traded for something else. But the main ones I wanted and had to trade for were the Zootopia one and the Rapunzel. So I'm very excited to have those, but I've got the Steamboat. I've got 2 castles that I have no idea what they represent. If I had the map, I would know probably, but they're beautiful, and I think all of these are going to be keepers except for the Steamboat, but we'll decide on that later. They had a map that went with this, just like kind of like the Tiny Kingdom maps, but these were a lot bigger than people expected. I think everybody expected these to be smaller, and you can see from this beloved Tales that they're actually a good size, really good size. Okay. Let's see, what have we missed? The last thing we need to cover is the park stamps. So these were, I don't know, low to mid-range, like maybe the top of the middle of my list. And there was one I really wanted and one I really wanted as a trader. Apparently I was wrong, way wrong. The most popular ones of these were Sorcerer Mickey, Figment, and Orange Bird, I believe. Sorcerer Mickey went cuckoo on the aftermarket. But the one I wanted the most was Alice, and I did get her, so she was the top of my stamps list. And look at that background, it's just gorgeous, and she is so, so pretty. This one is a limited edition of 400. Just to be different, I also had put the Bride from Haunted Mansion on my list, but I did not get her, and that was okay. That would have been a trader. And then Cinderella is supposed to be a trader, but I love this pin. It's so gorgeous and sparkly, and she just may have to be a keeper, so I'll have to make some decisions. The backer card is fun too. So this is a lot of fun. And she is just beautiful. So that is very fun to have. That is it, guys. You have to let me know what you thought of this. Now, I know that if you are on YouTube, if you follow YouTubers on Instagram as well as Disney content, you've seen all kinds of sellers that have tons of these pins available for sale. I think that was the goal for a lot of people. With the resellers, I had smaller goals, not cheap. I mean, still expensive when you add all this up, but thank God I didn't get the other 8 because it would have really been expensive. So it was quite a bit of pins, but it is a once a year thing, a little bit of an investment. And the 25 years of pin trading event I did not get into. So this is where I spent my allotted money for. And like I said, some of these will be traders. I probably could sell some of them for a good penny, but we'll see. I don't really intend to do that, but this really helps up my trader game. You guys will see I did very well with some traders at a couple of the events that surrounded this event, and I'm going to be really excited to show you those too coming up very soon. Let me know if you were at the event. I got to see a lot of faces, a lot of friends back from Virginia that I knew, also just that I only see once or twice a year here at Disney. So that was a lot of fun, but it was a great event. I'll be telling you more about it, but let me know what you thought of the pins, and I will see you guys on the next one. Bye.